Thank you for Patreon now for donating to the Patreon.
Hey guys, it's Vandy. I'm back again with another Card Fight Vanguard deck profile. So if you enjoyed, don't like, comment, subscribe, and start, shall we? This time we are covering Dark States, Drajeweled, set 6. Okay, so I'm mainly doing this because there is some slight differences between my set 6 deck and my set 5 deck. My issue with this is this. Why didn't they give Drajeweled actual support in set 6? Like, we can say the generic cards are Drajeweled support, but like, let's be fair, none of us count those as actual support. That is just generic cards that people give, and yeah, that again is support, but not support specific to the archetype. Now, yes, we all know very damn well Fiery Mountain Wind is getting at least 6 Drajeweled cards, because we know 6 of them that we saw in the anime, and I'm 95% sure all of them are going to be in set 7, along with the evolution of Drajeweled. So yeah, I do have a set 7 deck built for Drajeweled right now, but like, I'm kind of waiting for us to get the official full skills of those guys before I start like using it, or like I'm comfortable with using it in the video. So go ahead and get this started, shall we? And you can kind of see the differences, but yeah. So first up, we have our starter in Julius Draco, grade 0 boost, 5k shield, 6k base, auto and road upon if you win second, draw a card. Standard starter, no special about it. You get a draw if you win second. That's all it is. Goddamn, all I gotta say is, like, I really like the aesthetic of this ride line. I like the Abyss Dragon theme, but I fucking hate that, like, they didn't get good support in set 6 at all, if any. So yeah, Julius Draco Kid, good starter. You can really make it any starter, but come on, do the ride line. They look cool together. Then we have Hades Dragon of Deity of Resentment, Gallmageheld. So he's our Overtrigger. Grade 0 boost, 50k shield, 5k power, Overtrigger my 1 Overtrigger deck. Reveals the trigger, move that card, draw a card, choose one of your units, it gets plus 1 mana for the turn. And if you do during activation effect, which is you get during your turn, all of your Vanguards get plus 10k and a crit for this fight. This is the deck I see the Overtrigger the least in terms of drive checks and damage checks. I see it the most in terms of drawing it, but I've literally never seen it during a damage check or drive check, which I don't understand how all of the Dark States decks can do this. Why is it this one that can't? So, you know, being able to get plus 10k and a crit on Van is pretty good, especially in the occasions where you can't drop your opponent down to 1k, so the Vanguard's not getting that crit. Really nice to get the Vanguard a plus, and, you know, you just want to keep plussing to your units in general. So being able to get the extra number is really nice. You could do it all Bari, but like, considering this is Drajeweled and you're dropping your opponent's Vanguard down to 1k, or like 1 anyways, you don't need to overkill them with their Bari. Just be nice and Gallmageheld. It's just a fun overtrigger. Then we have our normal triggers. 3 copies of our draw trigger on Rouse, Wildmaster Riley. Grade 0 boost, 5k shield, 4k base. Draw trigger, use guard circle. If your opponent's Vanguards are grade 3 or greater, she gets plus 5k shield. So cool, she's a 10k shield. And just a draw. I choose to call her discard fodder in this deck. She comes in so useful in every other deck when it comes to actually guarding, but this is the one deck where I don't use her for guarding because my hand actively has really good cards or like things that I want to keep for the late game, and then it's just her and a PG, and I have to constantly decide which one do I want to drop, and half the time I end up dropping the PG the following turn. So yeah, 3 copies of Riley, good draw trigger. Wish I didn't have to drop her all the time. 4 copies of our crit and steam Deviate Dragon, grade 0 boost, 15k shield, 4k base, critical trigger, auto rate, then battle shoot. It boosted, put it to soul, choose one of these, plus 2 for the battle, or for the turn. So cool. Adds numbers, you really run it just to get a grade 0 in soul. On occasions, this is required, like, if you don't hit a grade 0 off your grade 2 soul charge turn, and when I mean grade 2 soul charge turn, I mean literally everything that you do that turn is soul charge. If you don't hit a grade 0 off it, then that's where Steam Deviate comes in useful, but typically if I hit a grade 0 off it, I never really have to use Steam Deviate unless, like, the game drags on long enough. So, 4 Steam Deviate, good crit. He's one of the few crits I actually remember to use a skill because of this deck, so good on him. And then we have 4 fronts in Huckle Hustle. Here's my argument for this. We all know why I'm not running Diablos Girl Natalie. If you don't know why I'm not running Diablos Girl Natalie, go check out the previous Drajeweled video, because then that pretty much paints a pretty picture for you. But yeah, 4 fronts, and I think Huckle Hustle might be trying to curse me. I don't know, because I used to run her in my Barrow Magnus build, and then I stopped using Barrow Magnus. I haven't used Barrow Magnus in so long, and now I've used Drajeweled. She shows up a lot during my drive checks. I'm starting to question if she's like proving that she's a good front for me, or if she's trying to like prepare me for something bad. Either way, good front 4 of. And then we have 4 normal heal and steam Scara Mal-Nigal. You know, I don't like the effect heals. The 5k shield really kind of hurts. You know what? That's actually something funny I saw today where, I'm not going to say where it was on YouTube, but like, even though I feel like I should give credit to them. But like, I saw a video where someone had discarded one of the special heals, and their reasoning for it, they even said it out loud, is because, you know, the deck that they're playing against cannot do multi-attack, cannot get extra criticals. There's no reason to keep that heal in hand when it's just a dead card. So, like, reasons like that are why I don't run those heals, especially because, like, even if you run them at, like, 1 of each and then 2 of a normal heal, there's still a chance you'll see them and then they'll be dead cards, and I don't want to take that chance. It's either, like, go all in or don't go all in. That's how I feel about it. So, I'm gonna pick this heal. If you want to pick the effect heals, go ahead, but I like this heal better. Then move on to our grade 1s. 2 copies of Mysterious Fairy Lyn. Grade 1 boost 5k shield, AK base, auto when she's placed on rear. Look at the top 2 cards and choose up to 1 card. Choose one from them, put it to soul, and put the remaining on the bottom. It's just a selective soul charge. So, like, on occasions, if you need a certain grade, get it to soul, put it to bottom. I cannot tell you how many times, if she was a normal soul charger, how many times I actually would have lost off that. Because a lot of times, the top 2, the first card is always something I have in soul. The second card is something I actually need. So, you know, Lyn is always really cool. She helps out a lot in the deck. She's free. She shows up in my hand always. I don't know how. So, like, I don't feel bad about putting her to 2, but I do like her as a grade 1, and I would not be afraid to put her back up to 4 just because she's really good. So, all around, nice grade 1, 2 of, works in an early game rush, worst case scenario. Then we have 3 copies of Invoker of Thunder Fullgress. He's becoming the Hendrina of my games, where he showed up a lot when I first played the deck, then he slowly shows up less and less over time, shows up exactly when I need him, and then if he goes anything like Hendrina win at some point, he'll just end up stop showing up in general. But then Hendrina came back when I started playing Zorga again, so, you know, maybe he'll show up again too, or maybe I'll just cut him, who knows. Anyways, grade 1 boost, 5k shield, AK base, auto he's placed on rear if your Vanguard is Drajeweled, yep, so basically either of the grade 3s. Soul Boss 1, choose a card from your drop zone, put it to soul, and this unit gets +2 for the turn. So cool, he's a 10k base, basically the turn you place him. He allows you to swap out soul. Yeah, like I said, he's becoming the Hendrina where I don't need him the turn I draw him, but, like, there's no reason not to call them because I'm essentially going to lose that the next turn. So, like, you know, Invoker is good and all. He really is, and he was pulling his weight back when the deck was in, like, its set 5 form, but now it's in set 6, even though there's barely been any changes. He's kind of, like, been 50-50 meh. Like, he doesn't really show up when I need him to anymore, so 3 of Fullgress, he's good, because in the situation where you need him to swap soul for you to get your Drajeweled off, he's good, but, yeah, he's just, like, kind of slowly but surely not showing up anymore, so take that as you will. Then we have 3 copies of the card I put in here just so my Drajeweled deck can feel different. I'm not even joking with you, that's why she's here. If she wasn't in here, I would not be doing this deck profile. I literally put her in here just so I have reason to do a deck profile, and so the Drajeweled deck feels ever so slightly different. Direful doll out of mine. Grade 1 boost, 5k shield, 8k base. Continuous rear guard. During your turn, if you have 10 or more soul cards, she gets +10. That's never going to happen in this deck. If that happens in this deck, that means you're being overly cautious, or you're handing up with 3 of these and you felt like at the start of the game you were like, fuck yeah, I want to use all of these at once because why the fuck not, and just win the game off this move. And that's why you keep it in your hand. And then act rear, once per turn, counterblast 1 until end of turn. When you would soul charge barrier card's ability, increase the amount by 1. So if you do play all 3 of them and you counterblast 3, that's essentially every time you soul charge +3. So if you soul charge 1, it's soul charge 4. Here's my thing with this. This is a card I put in here on a whim just in case I need to. In case I need to, we're in the situation where I have the soul, but I need to bank it on her. I can trust her. And you know what? One time she worked. The one time I got her on my board and she actually did her job. I soul charged a card that was grade 2. I had a grade 3 and a grade 0 in soul. I flip over the top card. It's a grade 1, and I got my soul the way I needed to. So you know what? She did her job. Yeah, that's all I can say about her. 3, she works in the way she's intended to. Really wish she showed up more, but, like, what can you do? Just what can you do? She's discard fodder at this point, really. Then we have our PGs, 4 copies of our skill Hate Dragon, so grade 1 boost, 0 shows 6k base, can change Sentinel, 4 signs on the deck, and auto is put on guard circle, choose one of these, it cannot be into the battle, and if your hand has 2 or more cards, choose a card from hand, discard it. So standard PG, not too much about it, it's basically when placed on guard circle, discard 1, and if you have 1 or less, sorry, if this was the only other hand card that you had besides 1 other card, then you don't have to discard, which means you can be as aggressive as you want, and he'll steal PG for you. You can run the other PG, I would have totally done it, except before I did it, I thought to myself, should I? Because this is one of the PGs I have better luck with, and I know there are times where I'll change out cards that have similar effects, or cards that are inherently better than other cards, and I'll never see them compared to the previous card that I saw almost every game. And I'm really afraid to like put that PG in, because this PG is the reason I win some of my games, or like a good chunk of my games, because he shows up as often like when I need him to. So I don't want to take that chance. I want the new PG, but I don't want to like backstab this thing and then it curses my other deck. So 4 over Skill Hate Dragon, good PG, a little bit afraid of it. Just works as it is. Like I said, take any PG you want, but I'm a little superstitious, and I have reason to believe that because I know a lot of decks where luck will change on me in a heartbeat if I change out certain cards. So 4 of. Then move on to our last grade 1, 2 of in the main deck, 1 of in the ride deck of Jewel Core Dragon. So grade 1 boost 5k shield, AK base, auto when it's rode upon by Demonic Stone Dragon Jewelneel, call it to rear guard, and auto rear when this unit attacks or boosts, this unit gets +5 for the battle. At the end of the battle, put it to soul, and this effect is mandatory. So basically, it's a guaranteed 13k swinger and a free grade 1 back to soul. You get a free multi-attack on grade 2, and that's why I really love playing this deck. Like grade 2 turn is the most aggressive turn you got going into this game. It's all around a nice grade 1. I would have put up to 4 if I didn't, if I wasn't against like running cards at 1-ofs or having 2 different cards at 2-ofs and not the rest of the line being of 2-ofs. So, you know, Jewel Core all around is a nice grade 1. I like him. I think he's really good. I like his art. I like his skill. So why not run as a 2-of in the main deck and 1-of in the right deck? Because you can see him at any point and he'll probably kill your opponent. Then move on to our grade 2s. 2 copies of Indicate Arrow Dragon. One of the very few cards in this deck she can actually combo off of, because if you read her skill correctly, you have to soul charge off effects, not just send a card to soul. Like for example, this fucker over here doesn't soul charge, he just swaps a card out. And same with her. So, you know, it has to be something with a soul charge effect, and this unfortunately is one of the only 2 or 3 I want to say. Anyways, Indicate Arrow, grade 2, intercept 5k shield, 10k base. Auto is placed on the rear where reveal the top card of your deck. If you soul has no card to same card name as it, soul charge 1. So basically the card reveal goes to soul, except if you have her on the board and you use her skill, you get to soul charge another card on top of that, meaning you basically get 2 free soul. And all around, Indicate Arrow is a really good card. I mean, being able to get a free soul charge on grade 2 turn is amazing, because for some reason I see him every time at grade 2 turn. I don't understand how, but like, he'll get me a soul, and because I'm at grade 2 and the only card I haven't sold at this point is Julius Draco Kid, except for maybe a trigger, which is doubtful, but like flipping over a card and it basically goes to soul, because there's no way in hell I'm getting another trigger in there. And if it is just Julius Draco Kid, obviously Julius Draco Kid's in the ride deck, so that means I just get a free soul charge. So around Air Indicator is really good, and there have been occasions in the late game where he has definitely pulled through because my soul is on very short count, which is also why I don't play the soul spamming deck, and I will get to that reason later, probably at the end of the video, so stick around for that if you want to know why I don't run the soul spam deck. So yeah, Indicator all around is a really good grade 2. I like him. That free soul ability has definitely helped me out on a lot of occasions, and I give him a 2 for that. Honestly, like, I don't want to put him at a 4 of, because I see him often enough as is. I'm worried that if I put him at a 4 of, I'll see him way too much. Then we have 2 copies of Selfish Engraver. So she has done her job in an amazing way, in something I didn't expect. So grade 2 intercept 5k shield, 10k base, auto rear when this new attack hits, soul charge 1. So hit anything, that's a free soul charge. Cool. And then auto rear, at the end of the battle she attacked. If your soul has 10 or more cards, it's never going to happen. Put her to soul, counter charge 1. I put her in here for the counter charge skill originally because, like, I knew it inherently I was never going to get to 10 soul, but I thought to myself, if I ever get to 10 soul, I at least get a counter charge out of it. I don't know what it's been with her lately, but she's been showing up a lot more than she did before, and she's actually been putting in work. Because the few times people let her hit, she's been getting me the exact grade I need to make plays with for the next turn, when I would have been 1 grade short. So I don't know if this is like me and Selfish Engraver going through like a little momentum thing, or if this is just, again, like Huckle Hustle, where I'm starting to think like I'm getting good luck for soon to arrive bad luck, but who knows. For all I know right now, Selfish Engraver has been doing her job, showing up extremely often as Indicate actually, and is a decent on hit pressure, because anyone who plays against me now knows that Selfish Engraver will get me a free soul, and now you have to guard her instead of just like blatantly take her when she's honestly the best one to take on my boards, because she's the strongest somehow. So 2 of Selfish Engraver. Take that as you will. Then we have 3 copies of Ultrasound Siren. Grade 2 intercept 5k shield, 10k base. Auto is placed on rear from your hand. Counterbalance 1, look at top 3, choose 1 card from among them, put it to soul, shuffle the remaining back to deck, and if there are 4 more different card names in soul, get a draw. I find it funny how like the roles switched from set 5, where this was the card I saw the most in terms of grade 2s, this was the card I saw the least, and this was the card I saw the second least, and the roles switched immediately. Like, these are the 2 I see the most now, and then I see this rarely anymore. I'm not even joking with you. I used to see this like every time. First grade 2 turn. This showed up every other game. She showed up very late into the games. Now she shows up early, he shows up early, and this thing doesn't show up till like 2 grade 3 turns later. So all around really good. I can tell you when I was seeing her in the early game, the draw was really helpful because I could definitely get the 4 more different card names in Soul very easily, and I could get a free plus off it and get a lot of little bit more consistency on my board, especially with the counter blast not being set to not a hefty cost on this deck, and being able to shuffle the deck and not send them to bottom like Mei-Lin over here. Though Mei-Lin is helpful. Weirdly enough, I think Lin over here is what was calling it, because I've slowly seen less and less Lin, but like and Ultrasound Siren has shown up less and less, but I don't know. Either way, Siren is a good grade 2. Definitely like it. Late game, early game has been really helpful. 3 of. Just does worse than late game, though, because typically that's when I start running out of soul. But yeah, 3 of Ultrasound Siren. Really a good grade 2. And then our last grade 2, one of in the ride deck of Demonic Stone Dragon Jewelneel. If its first ability was more than just an on-hit soul charge, I would probably replace it with Selfish Engraver in the ride deck. But considering the fact like she has the potential to do more, obviously I'm not going to do that. So anyways, grade 2 is a 5k shield, 10k base, in my opinion, the cooler looking one out of the ride line. Auto Vannereer, when this attack hits a Vanguard, soul charge 1. Yeah, that's the other reason why I don't run in the main deck over Selfish Engraver, because Selfish Engraver can hit anyone and still get that soul charge. And then auto when it's rode upon by a unit with Drajeweled in its card name, whether it's the newer one or the older one, soul charge 1, and if your soul has 3 or more different grades, draw a card. Okay, here's how you get 3 different grades. Himself, this thing that probably went to soul unless your opponent somehow cheated into Nile Griffin, did at grade 2 and or 1. And then your starter, which is obviously in soul, unless for some reason you were stupid enough to soul blast it, and it's your fault at this point, you lose. There's no coming back for this. So yeah, all around really good. Basically, grade 2 turn, it's a free guaranteed soul charge because no one's going to block the Vanguard, especially if like you boost it with Jewel Core. So like 23k swing, it's a free 2 soul charge, technically speaking, 1 from him, 1 from Jewel Core. And then, you know, next turn you get another soul charge and you're definitely getting a draw out of it. All around, good grade 2. I like him a lot. I wish he had a better rear guard skill, but what can you get? He's still a cool looking card in my opinion, so one of them in the right deck. Then our grade 3s. 3 copies of Time Jarett Dragon. Grade 3, 200 persona, 13k base. Autumn's placed on rear, put a hand card, soul, draw a card. Cool. This is what I used to get my grade 3s into soul. Yeah, I took out a very specific card for Botis, and spoiler, Botis is in this deck, by the way, and Time Jarett has been here from the beginning to make sure I can consistently get grade 3s in soul. You know what? He does that job good. And on the occasions where I don't just send grade 3s to soul, which are rare, he gets me soul that I need. So all around, Time Jarett is really good. Selective soul charge, replaces the card you soul charge with the draw. All around, good card. I like him a lot. 3 of. Then we have 3 copies of Merciless Count Botis. You may be wondering, why am I not running such a good card at 4? Because I literally see him way too often. I see him every game somehow, and I don't understand why. So grade 3 turns persona at 13k base. Auto rear when you soul blast 2 more cards at the same time for this card's cost, or for any card's cost, he gets +5 for the turn. And then if you soul blast 3 more at the same time, counter blast 1, choose a card from drop, and put it to soul, and then you shoot up to one of your opponent's rear guards with the same grade as that card, murder it. Oh my god, I'm an idiot. I forgot that about Botis' skill. I knew about the 5k, and I knew about the counter blast and the thing to soul. I've been forgetting I can kill rear guards with that. Well, it's a good thing I won the games. I was playing with it earlier anyways. Yeah, so it's a good card. As you can see, I'm not running the bullshit Shining Shadow combo. One, because like I'm not exactly sure on how the ruling works. I'm pretty sure like well, I know how it works, alright? At least I know how the combo should work, but I don't know, like, if the ruling's official, because last I heard it was, like, 50-50 on it, but, I'm not gonna run that combo simply because, like, Shining Shadow feels like a agreed-on card to me, and anyone who disagrees with me is, I'm not gonna say it's stupid, but, like, the card has agreed-on in its art. It came out before Drajeweled was even conceived, unless its idea was just conceived, so, like, you guys can see what I'm saying here, right? Like, that's more of a agreed-on card. Now, if Bushiroad walks, or like someone from Bushiroad walks up to me and is like, Shining Shadow was meant for Drajeweled, but we just wanted to throw it out there first, see what people did with it, and see if it was broken or not. And then I would say, okay, sure, then I'd run it, because Bushy themselves admitted that it was a Drajeweled support card from the get-go, but like, Unless someone actually tells me this was Drajeweled support, I'm not counting it as Drajeweled support because the fucking card on that is Greedon, so take that as you will. Anyways, really good grade 2, really good grade 3, 18k base easily, and then it can kill an opponent's rear guard and get you a soul. As I've said before, get you a soul. That's the thing I've been using it for. I've never remembered that it kills the opponent's rear guard. Thankfully it says up to, so technically I haven't been misplaying. Yeah, take that as you will. I mean, based off the games I play with this deck, it's proven now that, like, that combo doesn't make the deck at all. If I can win with it without even using that part of the skill, clearly, and without using the combo in general, clearly I know what I'm doing. Or clearly, like, I'm getting stupid lucky, or clearly the combo doesn't make the deck. One or the other, I'm right. So, 3 of Botis, good grade 3, why not? And then we have our last unit, 3 copies in the main deck, 1 copy in the right deck of Jewel Embracing Dragon Drajeweled. Or as I like to call him, the dragon that fucking hates me. He knows why. So grade 3, 200 persona at 13k base. Continuous, when this unit be rode upon, it is regarded as Cursed Gem Dragon Drajeweled. I am never going to run this when it comes to the set 7 one. As you know, that card is set 7, this is set 6 deck, so for all of you confused of why the other one's not here, that is that reason alone. Also, I would not be running this in that deck because I feel the persona rides are too slow, and I would not run the skill otherwise, considering the fact I would never put it in my Vanguard circle anyways, if it wasn't for that. So anyways, Auto Van, when it attacks a Vanguard, the main thing, Soul Blast 4 cards with different grades, very easy to hit in this deck 3 times in a row, even with like the lack of Soul Chargers. Choose one of your opponent's Vanguards, and until end of turn, increase or decrease his power to 1, and then if their Vanguard is at grade 3 or greater, he gets a crit. So they can boost the number back up via like shield values or like abilities or damage triggers, etc. But basically, they're at 1, he gets a crit. I've heard some people decide not to use his skill when the opponent's at grade 2. And my question to you is, okay, fair, but what the fuck? I always use my skill when they're at grade 2. Fuck it. I will not like hesitate at all. I will use it at grade 2, and that's like half the reason I win, because they just get overwhelmed so quickly that they can't really stop me. And then continues rear guard. If you soul blasted 4 more cards at the same time for this card's ability cost, it gets +5 basically. So it doesn't have to be for your Vanguard's ability, it can be for anyone, but yeah, 18k boost, 18k swing. No, not worth it at all. You know, he's just a crit and brings the opponent down to 1k. Not super powerful. It's still good. Like, that skill is amazing. It's just like him himself doesn't do anything for the deck because he doesn't get soul. He's like the old Youthberg and the old Leonor. Like, they themselves don't do anything to support the deck. They are simply there to be the main grade 3 and nothing else. That's kind of one thing I specifically hate about how Wildmaster is going, where 4 of the new ride lines introduced, the grade 3s do not support the deck at all. The grade 3s are the quote-unquote gimmick of the deck, and then that's it. Like, at least Nirvana supported Trickstar. Drajeweled doesn't support the deck at all outside of the Soul Blast 4 thing. Youthberg doesn't support the deck at all except for the Revolve Form thing. And Leonor doesn't support the deck at all. It just takes anything that can boost and then uses her skill. Like, you all get my argument, right? Like, they don't boost up anything, the old versions. They just do the thing and the deck does the rest. So, it's a thing. But anyways, I hate this card because, or I love this card. It was my favorite one. But then I slowly began to hate it because it literally never shows up. Its persona rights always elude me. There was one game on camera where I damage checked all 3 copies before I got to grade 3. I don't know why this thing hates me. It just does. The games I draw persona right are the games I win. And thankfully, it's not the only games I win. That's all I'm going to say. Take that as you will. It's a good grade 3. Brings the opponent down to 1k. You get that crit. 3 of in the main deck, 1 of in the right deck. And that's it for the deck. I hope you guys enjoyed. So, the reasoning behind why this deck is not hyper soul charged, because in my opinion, and it has partially to do with something my friend said to me a long time ago, where, in something I said earlier in this video, go big or go home. If you're gonna go the hyper soul charge route, you have to go the hyper soul charge route. What I mean by hyper soul charge route, I mean everything in the deck has to have a soul charge skill. Not just the Vanguard. Everything in that deck has to have a soul charge skill. Botis does not count because he doesn't soul charge. That's what I'm saying. You have to go all out. Everything in that deck has to soul charge. Everything except for maybe the Vanguard. That's the only exception. I'm not, and the triggers obviously. I'm not joking. That's why I'm not running that thing, because in my opinion, it's either that, it's go all in, or don't. That's how my friend plays Granblue. That's how he plays Amon. Worst thing is, that's how it works somehow, and it ends up killing me so easily because he just trigger sacks at the end. So yeah, anyway, that's the deck. I hope you guys enjoyed. I know it's not very different from my set 5 deck. That's not my fault. Bushy just chose not to give us support, but hey, set 7. they're going to give us good cards. And now I can finally feel free to test out my set 7 stuff. So without further ado, I'm going to end it here. Hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, join Discord, follow Twitch, and I'll see you on this one. Don't forget to stand up your vanguards.